Hello and welcome on BrookesTV. I'm Zelia de Ponte-Zadorzik.
And I'm Joanna Hubbard. Coming up in this week's episode,
We found out about a supersonic car that has arrived in Oxford.
we learn about how alcohol consumption is leading to the problems in the UK.
And we catch up on the annual Oxford Brookes Festival.
But first, a supersonic car and its team were in Oxford last Tuesday while on their tour in the UK.
The Bloodhound caused a lot of interest in Oxford, and we sent Sonia Raphael to investigate.
This is a replica of the Bloodhound Car, a car designed to travel at more than supersonic speeds. Currently in its development stage, the car is part of the Bloodhound project that aims to break the current land speed record of 763 miles per hour. Traveling at over 1,000 miles per hour, it will literally be faster than a speeding bullet. The team and the crew members were in Oxford supporting the project and its larger aim to promote the update of science by kids. We spoke to Ian Glover, president of the 1K Club, to find out more.
Major emphasis we've got is to inspire a new generation of scientists, technologists, engineers and mathematicians. Obviously the second part is that we've held the record now continuously for 31 years in the UK, and we really want to keep it in the UK to make sure that the rest of the world can't come anywhere near us.
Members of the public, young and old, gathered on Kebble Road to witness the supersonic car.
I'm sure this is a fantastically inspiring project for schools, anything that gets young children thinking about how the world works. And something like this as well is not just about engineering, it's about breaking rules and breaking boundaries and encouraging children to aim high and be faster and more powerful and more sleek.
It looks a bit like a plane. If they took the wings off, it could fly.
In order to achieve this goal, the Bloodhound Education Program was established to encourage kids to explore and immerse themselves in the world of science and technology. The Bloodhound Car will run at up to 200 miles per hour on a runway in the UK this summer, before heading off to South Africa in September. The team will then return in 2016, setting up their gears to hit the 1,000 mark. This is Sonia Raphael reporting for BrookesTV News.
Well, hopefully they'll hold the record for many years to come.
With more than 9 million people in England drinking over the recommended daily limit, 80% of them are unaware of the damage caused by excessive drinking. Sonia Raphael investigates.
A secret that today, alcohol is more accessible to the general public. But with many young adults drinking more than their daily recommended limits, most turn a blind eye to the damage their drinking could be causing them. With excessive drinking viewed as part of the culture here in the UK, is the misuse of alcohol a larger problem than we're afraid to admit?
I think most of the people wouldn't admit it because it's very hard. Often related to a stigma, it's very, very problematic to admit it and to seek for help.
A recent poll of 4,000 UK adults found that 1 in 5 young professionals considered themselves to have a drinking problem. Nearly half of them said they thought it was acceptable to regularly get drunk on a night out.
I don't think alcohol will affect us. Obviously I know it's having a very bad impact, but I know that we're at the age where if we could drink as much as we can, this is when we do it.
So I keep drinking till I feel like I can't drink anymore.
Yes! Yes, high five!
A third of 18 to 24-year-olds said they had got so drunk they could not remember most of their night out, with about a fifth of them saying they had not been able to recall how they got home. We sat down with Dr. Leslie Smith to find out more about the issues of alcohol abuse.
People don't recognise their drinking as being a problem, because if it's normal to go out and do these things, then they don't necessarily recognise that may be leading to problems.
There are various resources on the internet making it easier to obtain information and advice without having to admit to someone in person or disclosing personal information.
There are national charities like Alcohol Concern that people can contact either online or by telephone to ask for advice.
With the price of alcohol getting cheaper, the NHS is burdened with the strain of overstretching resources and staff to accommodate hospital admissions related to alcohol abuse.
As alcohol has become more affordable, this is closely correlated with the increase in consumption.
With alcohol misuse costing the country around £21 billion per year in healthcare, crime and lost productivity costs, perhaps it's time we started rethinking drinking. This is Sonia Raphael reporting for BrookesTV News.
Now, the Oxford Brookes Opera Society have recently produced a new performance. We sent Matt Ainsley to get a sneak peek and to ask about opera's relevance in the modern day.
This week, the Oxford Brookes Opera Society are staging their third annual performance. I met with them to find out how they felt about opera's relevance in the modern day.
So the play starts in fairly calm times. It doesn't really start in tempest. It starts with the Peacham family going about their daily activities, and then it comes to the parents' light that their daughter has been fraternising with McKeith, this infamous Lothario who obviously plays the hearts of many women.
McKeith, wow. He likes his women. He likes money. He likes the two in combination. He's just this big player.
Pretty arrogant.
And he has a big mouth, and he doesn't mind running it constantly.
And so they obviously don't want her to marry him, but she still does in secret. There's two gangs, the highwaymen and the prostitutes, and they walk in on him with the prostitutes and arrest him. Peacham and some jailer constables, and Lockett, who's another important character in the production, who's the jailer of Newgate. And so they arrest him, take him to Newgate. But then another girl comes into play, which is Lockett's daughter, who is also in love with this amazing man, McKeith. You know, brave as an ox, all of that. And she helps him escape from prison. So we're performing it at the old fire station. And the truth of that venue is really in its title. It's an old fire station. And it's a great venue that Brookes has booked out for us.
I then wanted to know their opinion on opera's relevance.
I think people appreciate the arts. I don't think it's like the first thing everyone's jumping to go, oh, I want to be in an opera. But I think there are still people out there who appreciate the arts and who enjoy going to the opera and the theatre. And
it's still quite a big event to go and see an opera, and people do still make it as a big evening to go and do something.
People always are very reserved about opera, and we still kind of try to break through these prejudices and everything with our opera society.
But really, Polly, this is carrying the joke.
The performances are being held at the old fire station on Wednesday the 22nd and Thursday the 23rd, with a matinee on the Thursday. Matt Ainsley for BrookesTV News.
I love opera. It was such an amazing performance by Brookes. The Oxford Folks Weekend was in full swing last weekend. A great platform for new and independent music artists to play for crowds of people. Joe Cook went and found out more.
Full strength and the Oxford Folk Weekend in full swing. With music, traditional dancing, storytelling and more, there'll be a lot to choose from. However, the next couple of days won't just be fun for everyone. There's independent musicians in an industry that is rapidly changing. This weekend promises to be a crucial time for promoting, connecting and sharing.
This is our first gig together. So we are Cold Harbour. My name is Matt.
I'm Henny.
I'm Joe. For us, this particular weekend, it started up a couple of years ago, and before that there was an Oxford Folk Festival. So it's kind of the big highlight of the Oxford Folk year, and it's a good place to play to friends, to newcomers, and it's just a great opportunity really. for us to think about how we can share what we're doing with other people.
Yeah, my name is Ben Avison. I'm a singer-songwriter. I play guitar and a load of other instruments. I'm based in Oxford. I live on a narrowboat just up the canal from here. It's, in the past I found it really hard sort of hammering on doors, but I think Oxford's a very open place for music. I'm an independent artist, but you can bypass all of that. You can just put your own stuff out there and build your own fan base, which is great. But it also means that there's sort of less of the bigger prizes out there.
According to the IFPI, digital music revenues were up 6.9%, that's $6.95 billion in this past year. Chief Executive at the IFPI, Francis Moore, states that this change is in many ways a cause for great optimism. But will this have impact upon smaller artists and traditional music events?
I guess that the impact will mostly be on sales of recorded music rather than live events, because I guess there's always been that opportunity to buy a recording versus the opportunity to see the band live, and they haven't necessarily had much to do with each other. But now, with digital recording sales being severely impacted by things like Spotify, I think that's something that is going to change the shape of how artists make their money.
I think you have to have a combination of like the digital communication. We actually have to have a real world thing to be offering to attract people to.
So I think one of our biggest challenges is for people to know who we are. So an event like this today, at the beginning of that performance, probably 10 people knew about us. By the end, 60, 70 people know about us. It's all those kind of things going on there. How do you get your name out? And digital media is very useful for that.
The artists and organisers here in Oxford seem to share an overall optimism for the future of small-scale music. But will this rapid change in the way we consume continue to encourage, or will it provide new challenges over the coming years? Joe Cook, BrookesTV.
I adore folk music. Have you ever been?
Yes, I went last year actually. It was a really good day.
And that is it for this half, but still to come.
We find out which pub is on the way to being the best in the country.
And we join a group of cyclists for a Sunday treasure hunt. Welcome back to BrookesTV News. Join me now welcoming Edward Hodge. He's one of the senior member of Oxford Brookes Racing Team. Hello.
Hi there.
Welcome on the show, Ben. Tell me a bit more about yourself.
I'm a fifth year master's student who has been part of the team for 5 years. I started on my first day at university and have been hooked ever since. I've had the chance to travel the world with Oxford Brookes Racing and achieve many great things, including become the top UK team, and it meant that I was able to go into F1.
Tell me more for student and everyone that don't know much about car, as I might be their president, about the Formula Student race team.
Okay, so Formula Student is a competition where you design, test, build, develop and race a Formula Student car, which is a single-seater car, quite a small version of a Formula 1 car. It's designed to be entirely done by students. Here at Brookes, we have the biggest team in the world at 200 people.
Wow.
We have the best team in the UK here at Brookes, and we're considered one of the best in industry. It tests not only your design ability, so how good you are off the track, so how good you are at building a cheap, reliable, business-friendly car, but also one which is quite quick on track and quite ergonomic.
I've heard last year you had a pretty amazing season. Tell us about your achievement and goals.
So we became the first ever team from the UK to win the design competition. So we designed the best car not only in the UK but in the entire world. So we beat 600 universities around the world, some with budgets of £1.2 million. We don't have that kind of budget, but that's one of the reasons we won, is because we have engineers who are better at making use of the money we have available. So we've come up with some really ingenious solutions to some quite cheap products.
Hopefully you'll win all the three awards this year.
Yes, we're going to the UK, Germany and Hungary this year to compete, and we are aiming to become not only the first UK team ever to win the endurance event, which is the only trophy we haven't won, but to win outright, and we'd like to win all three. A win at one of the competitions will promote us to the top 10 in the world, and a second win would put us the best team in the world at the moment. So yeah, we're pushing hard.
That's really good. Are you happy with the team you have this year?
Yeah, this year we have, as I said, 200 members. We've got everywhere from foundation students right the way through to master students, so those learning how to come onto a degree, through to those who have done a degree already, and the combination of all those students integrating really helps to knowledge transfer within the team. The other thing that I'm really happy about this year is the sheer amount of links to industry. So quite a lot of our team members are working with F1 members, people in the top levels of motorsport around the world. They're coming to visit us, to talk to us about how we're working and how we're developing, and it really helps us as a team grow and us as people grow.
You said you were going to drive the car. Is it ready to be? Is it drivable? Is it getting there?
We're launching the car on May the 29th at the JHBB building in Headington. It will be the first time we've ever launched it, and we're launching it as part of 150th anniversary celebrations for the university.
Wow.
We've got a large number of VIPs, and tickets for the launch are coming online at the first day of May.
Let's move on to some Twitter question. For a couple of students have asked us. C. Evans actually asked us, how big is the race team? I think you answered that by saying over 200 members.
Yeah. Some of the race team members, like we have 30 core team members and then 170 associate members.
And we have Chris Smith that asked, how quick can the student car go?
It can do a top speed of 90 miles an hour. It's not really designed for going in a straight line speed. It's designed for pulling corners, so we can pull 2G, so it makes your body feel twice as much as it actually weighs.
Not sure what you just said, but fantastic. So when and where is this Formula Student going to be held this year?
July 9th to the 12th at Silverstone Grand Prix circuit in Northamptonshire.
Okay, that's not in Germany, because I thought...
There's a German competition in Hockenheim.
Okay.
And there's one in Hungary in a town called Győr.
Perfect. I'm sure you guys are looking forward for it.
Yeah, can't wait to do... there's nothing better than spending an entire year building a car and then working with your mates and travelling around Europe.
Well, thank you so much for coming here today.
Pleasure.
And hope to see you soon and that you win this competition. Cheers. So the Westgate Shopping Centre in Oxford is currently under renovation and expansions. We send Zonda Chauvin to find out more and what it means for a shop in Oxford.
14. Oxford City Council has granted £5 million to refurbish the Westgate Centre. The revamp proposal comprises of 100 new shops and an additional 25 cafes and restaurants.
But what would happen if the shops around town are thinking of relocating into Westgate? According to the latest City Council survey, there were 20 vacant units out of 325 ground floor shops in the city centres. This is about 6% of the total. This number may appear to be low, but what would happen if a number keeps increasing? We have asked Mr. Graham Jones about how he thinks the new Westgate could have an impact on the shops and citizens of Oxford.
There's always a possibility that some shops will decide to actually move there. So we could see a few shops moving out of places like Core Market and over into the new Westgate. But that will open an opportunity for other shops perhaps who are looking for paying slightly less rent, even though they're not in the main prime shopping streets. I think it would be great to see the new centre. The John Lewis Anchor store will bring a lot of shoppers in, and hopefully they will spread away from John Lewis and into the main part of the city centre. But we have to do a lot of work to make sure that that happens. And ROX is working closely with the city centre manager to make sure that we try and achieve that.
These seems to attract a lot of tourists and shoppers. Could these improve the economics of Oxford?
We have to make sure that not everybody just visits the Westgate Centre and then gets on the bus or gets in their car and goes home, that they appreciate the whole of Oxford. All the specialist shops, all the independents, there's a little bit further to walk from the Westgate. So overall it should be a wider choice for shoppers.
This should pull more people into Oxford city centre and help the economy grow. The refurbishment of Westgate will be completed on time for Christmas 2017. This is Santa Showajan for BrookesTV News.
Well, the new Westgate Centre looks very impressive. I can't wait to check it out myself. 4 Oxfordshire pubs have been nominated for National Pub of the Year. Jessica McDowell was at the Mason's Arms in Headington to find out more.
The Mason's Arms in Headington is one of 4 Oxfordshire pubs nominated for National Pub of the Year.
Wait me a minute, Anna.
The coveted award is chosen by members of CAMRA, the Campaign for Real Ale.
It's always great to be nominated. I mean, we're a tiny little independent pub against some top competition in Oxford. The Real Ale is our focal point. It's our main point of the pub, and it's something that we've built up over the years and got a very good name for. We get people come from all over the country to visit us. Last Saturday I had a guy drive 95 miles just to try one of our beers, which is amazing, really.
It's one of the best pubs in Oxford, without a shadow of a doubt.
Tony Goulding highlights the criteria for how CAMRA members select the nominated pub.
The ale, or what beer they do dispense, real ale, must be very good quality. There's a lot of competition. Quality places to go with staff and the landlord who know their products, look after the customer. It needs to be the hub of the community, I think.
There's always a good choice of beer. It's also a traditional pub, which I like to support wherever possibly can. And I volunteer at the local beer festival as well once a year, so I'm a reasonably active CAMRA member. But really, I come here for the beer. Cheers.
Our branch, we're going out to judge the other 3. So we're going to the Red Lion at Hawley near Banbury. Nice, lovely village pub. We're going down to the Plum Pudding at Milton, not far from Oxford. It's now been taken over and purchased by local people. It's thriving. It can be done. And then we're also going to another pub in Wantage, the Royal Oak. It's just a basic boozer run by the same people for 30 years. Now, them 4 are going forward.
Will one of Oxfordshire's 4 potential candidates be crowned with the national title? This is Jessica McDowell for BrookesTV News.
I've been to the Mansion Arms. It was an absolutely brilliant pub. And finally, on to sports. With many events and social gathering going on throughout Oxford every week, we sent Dylan Jenkins to see why a Sunday bike ride was the highlight of the day.
Away, Raiders! Thank you!
This past Sunday, locals of Oxford got together for a good old-fashioned treasure hunt. The hunt took place on bicycles around the Oxfordshire countryside and was an event to support the Missing People charity organisation.
So my name's Helen Owls and I work at Missing People, and today we're putting on a fundraising event, a cycle treasure hunt here in Oxford to raise money for the charity. And so we've just set off a load of cyclists around Oxfordshire countryside trying to find the clues to answer the questions to win the prize, so all in a good cause.
The 2 routes for hunters on Sunday was a family route of 11 miles that starts from the George Inn in Littlemore and circles part of the countryside. Along the way, cyclists will collect clues and items that will help them unlock the treasure at the end. The longer course of 26 miles heads all the way down to Wallingford and back, and designed to be more of a challenge to frequent cyclists.
So Missing People's a national charity, and we support young people while they're away and while they're missing, also adults who might be missing and families who might be looking for them. So we provide a 24-hour helpline, and that's free and confidential to the people who are calling it, and we work there to support them and help them to make safe decisions about what they want to do.
We spoke with some of the day's riders to hear what they thought.
It's really exciting, a good opportunity to get out in the countryside, and we don't come from around here, so it's a really nice way to see the countryside, really, isn't it?
Yeah, different thing to do on a Sunday.
I'm really glad that it's for good cause.
After a good afternoon of cycling, the treasure hunters rushed back to the start and brainstormed the clues they had collected. While some were quicker on the course than others, it was actually one of the slower cyclists to figure out the clues and claim victory. The event on Sunday was a brilliant success, with more than 60 cyclists taking part and over £250 raised for missing people. It's good to see local communities such as these supporting charities all throughout Oxfordshire, and hope they continue to do so in the future. This is Dylan Jenkins, BrookesTV News.
That's it for this week, but remember, you can view all our previous episodes online at the Oxford Brookes YouTube channel.
And if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email us via brookestv@brookes.ac.uk, or you can reach us on Brookes Twitter @BrookesTV.
See you next time.
Goodbye.